Okay, so I logged into Notion. It has been a minute, and Notion Mail is here. It feels just like Notion, beautifully personalized, automatically organized, open your inbox. So I like this idea that they're not just giving you an inbox or telling you something is new, and this is fully opt-in. And so this is where these feature teams have spent so long building Notion Mail. I bet it's been like a thing that Notion's thought about for multiple years, and then a feature team spent like 6 months scoping it, doing research, building, prototyping. I would imagine like at least a year to build this. And this is the moment where 20% of people are going to say open your inbox. 80% of people are going to say, get that thing out of my way. I want to do the thing I came for Notion to. So it's shocking to me that companies spend so much time on this and so little time on the opt-in for these features that in the moment, people are not making a decision between, do I want Notion Mail or not? Do I think that my current mail provider is bad and I want to upgrade? Do I trust Notion? What they're making a decision between is, today, do I want to complete the task that I logged into Notion for, or do I want to get distracted by this Notion Mail thing and reorganize my inbox? And I'm hoping when I click this X button that then Notion will push Notion Mail to me multiple more times, so I have another at bat to say, yes, I do want Notion Mail. I am afraid that they won't, and that those poor feature teams that worked on Notion Mail, this is their one shot, and I really want to open it, right? Because we're here. I want to see what Notion Mail is, but I more want to see if these feature teams get another shot on goal. I clicked home, and I see that I have my home, and in the bottom left corner is view your mail. So I love this because it says you have mail, right? It's not saying set up your inbox, it's saying view your mail. You already have this inbox, it's sitting there waiting for you and you want to view it. Now if I was Notion to improve this, I would just have it on the side with a little red button that says you have 2 new pieces of mail in here, right? So you're actually kind of training people to go to where it will be sitting in the product and entice them with a normal UI element that says there's something waiting for you. This is better than a normal tooltip. Why? Because there's something colored, it's weird. Novelty does attract the eye, and so these normal kind of like tooltips that pop up, you're like, get out of my way. But the CTAs are really small, and so especially for people who you can imagine are on mobile or are not paying attention or not, as internet savvy, if we were to change something, if you were to give us like one shot on goal to actually like increase conversion on any pages, I know this is crazy, we would mess with the CTA buttons, because that's the thing people are looking at that says, what do I want to do that thing? And they're making a decision between that thing and something else. And so CTA buttons, while small, are actually the decision frame that people are taking to go forward. View your mail is nice, but it's so small. And so there's like, I have to find Notion Mail here. We're going to click it though. So I would make it a button, an enticing button. Okay, so now I have to go through a setup process, which is interesting because that's great that they're kind of like forcing me through a setup process, but at the same time, I came to view my mail. So now my reward is farther in the future. I don't know what is going to happen. And so I could just give up because I don't have time to connect my Google account right now. So what I would probably do is entice people in the background with like showing them this is your new optimized, like spend hours less on email, be as productive as the most productive person you've ever met, kind of giving them the aspiration of what's possible. Saving time is interesting. I don't love saving time because it's hard for us to realize what something abstract in the future is for our future selves. So like saving 45 minutes a day is amazing, but like it's hard for me to conceptualize that over time built up. So I'm not actually prioritizing as much as I should for 45 minutes a day. But the idea of being my best person, I kind of have that in my head of, I could be like Chris, who's ultra productive, if only I had a tool like Notion. Okay, so now we're in the setup flow for Notion Mail. Again, I like this idea that they're putting me forced through a setup flow, but at the same time, I really have to opt into this as something that I want. Remember, this is from a small pop-up in my way when I'm doing other things in Notion. This also is pretty reminiscent of Shortwave. So I don't know if they just copy and pasted the Shortwave onboarding, or maybe this is just like how you have to do some kind of mail onboarding, but this is generally a lot like shortwave, which is the new hot email tool that I would recommend people try. By the way, this is also like Gmail too. I do like the idea that they're not trying to fully reinvent the wheel. And obviously it would be hard to fully reinvent the wheel because you're pulling from Gmail's API, but they are using a mental model that we understand and putting it into a different UI UX. So if they were to completely change how mail works, this is going to be hard for people to get on board with. So Arc, I think, has done amazing work. They're the new browser extension. They've done amazing work for completely changing how you think about navigating your tabs, which are on the top to the side. And people like me who like, it's hard to do, I gave up on Arc because it was just too hard to switch that mental model. So when we're making changes, a lot of behavior changes around making small changes to people's behavior over time versus trying to do something really big one time, because you're going to have kind of these change effects. So there's always a strategy of how incremental of change can you get it to be so that people actually do it. Because it's a thing that they want to do, they've already been doing, and you're making it easier for them to do the thing they've already been doing, or a bigger behavior change. You know, you could argue Airbnb is a bigger behavior change that may be kind of a lottery ticket to see if people would actually do it. Now I just have my inbox. Now this is something where this is way more overwhelming than Superhuman that I am currently using, deciding if I'm changing to shortwave. Why? Because this is just too much for me to do. So I don't want to engage in my inbox anymore. This is not a thing that, it's not priority inbox, which I had. And I don't really care about labels because that doesn't get rid of all the spam stuff. So one thing with new products is you want to deliver immediate value. And this is not immediate value. This is the same inbox view that I've had for, Gmail and Superhuman. And so I'm curious kind of where this immediate value comes in for Notion. Love this, split from inbox. So they should just automatically kind of put me through a sign-up flow that does this. This is like a pop-up add-on later, something like it's been bolted on. The product team decided late that this was important. Say split from inbox. This is amazing. This is great. So sometimes I do wish product teams would have more of a paternalistic view, like this is how you do email. We don't actually want you to have spammy email in your inbox. So if you are going to use our Notion email, we are going to take it from you and move it. And in reality, the paternalism of this is too much for most, at least large companies, to do. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. No, this is spam too. This is not spam. So I have a view now. So they're teaching me by doing this that I have a new view. I'm going to go next. This is again, like what a small area. This product team probably has worked so hard on this, and you get a little pop-up like this versus actually just being paternalistic. This is how we do email. Auto labels improve over time, which is also a very hard concept for people. Like if you get it wrong in the first week, like, are you really going to be like, oh, I'm going to spend another 3 months on this? Okay, and then that's it. That's the only differentiation. Where does it hook into Notion? Where's the other immediate value? I love the idea that we're getting cold outreach out of my inbox because obviously the noise and the spam has gone up, but like this can't be it.